Hello, everybody. Welcome, Magic Family. Welcome back to Real Talk with Witches. This is episode number 2. This is one that we've all been looking forward to, witching on a budget. So, we're going to get into the fun, we're going to get into the juicy. How do you witch on a budget? I think we can kind of start off with the ancient old question is where should a beginner witch start? What should she have in her witchy kit or he have in a witchy kit? And where do you find those things that are affordable without breaking the bank at high-end metaphysical stores? So I am here today with our co-creators.
Toshar. Yes, Toshar here, transformation queen, business coach for you to help you achieve the level of spirituality in your business so you can transform your life and manifest your destiny.
Absolutely. And we also have here with us today.
And I'm Dreamweaver, aka Tony, your humble flea market witch.
I love it. So, I mean, both of you being very experienced, I'll let one of you, whoever wants to go first, is what do you guys feel like a beginner witch should have in their kit? And where do you find these things that are magical and affordable?
Tony?
Well, I'll start just because I'm an Amazon witch, baby. Anything out there can be magical. Any single thing. It's the intent and purpose you purchase it for, or the intent and purpose you make it work for you for. Now, I buy a lot of crystals. You just got to do your research, making sure they're reputable on Amazon. You can buy your pendulums, your crystals, whatever the basics you need. And it's going to be different for each person when they start. But a good rule of thumb is you need a whole bunch of pads and a whole bunch of pens because you need to write a lot of stuff down.
That's really good advice. So pads, pens, crystals, pendulums. If a newbie or a baby witch came to you and said, hey, what do I need to do to get started? Tony, what would you suggest for them?
Well, I talked to them for about 15 to 20 minutes. What's a little bit of their upbringing to find out what religion they were raised in, because that'll dictate how the magic that they like. So I steer them in that direction. Like with Santeria. I know for a fact, if they were raised in a Catholic religion, Santeria is the closest thing to the Catholic religion for magic that they could do. So I would steer them in directions to candles, and pictures of the saints, and things like that. It just depends on what they were brought up with, to what direction they would go.
I like that. I never thought about that. So it's practicing their magic, kind of stepping out, but still doing something that they can understand that's relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So candles would be sort of your go-to, or where they should start. Okay. I like that. Toshar, do you have anything you want to chime in on that?
Well, first of all, I would love to say that you are my best to go-to people. When I started out in an Ifa tradition, and I'm still in it, but I really was still new and finding my spirituality, because outside of what I knew in religion, I was still trying to get comfortable with the fact I could do something like a Yoruba Ifa tradition and work within that. Little did I know it all correlated. And I didn't really find that out until I started watching Mystic at the Crossroads with Jasmine Atten, your go-to. And so to be honest with you, I really realized, Jasmine, I've been watching you secretly. Now the secret's out for probably 2 or more years, or probably 3.5 now. And you really have a soothing voice. You got me comfortable with things. And so what I did was combine what you did, what you said, and I backed it up with what I knew and what I was learning parallel to that tradition, the Ifa tradition of my ancestors, and how I began safely with you and the tradition. I don't think I ever told you this. I just started going to the kitchen, you know.
Ooh, kitchen witch, baby.
And yes, honey, I'm that kitchen one. And so what I started to do, I started to work with things that were safe. Salt, purifier. I purify my meat with it, to clean my stuff with it, right? Clean your food with it you should clean it. Let me let you know before anything. When you go shopping, clean your meat. Anyway, so pepper, peppers for protection. And and there's many other uses, but I'm just saying the standard ones that anyone who wants to start to go into your kitchen, I suggest to do things that you're familiar with. Oil. Now, honey, I love olive oil, but let me tell you, Tony be like, honey, corn oil was used by your ancestors, so use it, baby. It's cheaper. Get it from Walmart. So, oil, water. we both touch water, or we should have water touching us at least daily. And that's nature, right? Between air, fire, earth,
water, and spirit.
And you know what I'm saying, right? So
yeah, you gotta have all the elements.
All elements. Water is one of the elements. Garlic. If you don't realize, when you go to the store and you buy store-bought food, one of the two main ingredients is garlic and onion, and they work interchangeably for whatever hoodoo practice or whatever you choose to do with your practice. So those
I know a good onion curse. Oh, it's a doozy.
If I laugh too hard, I have like a Klingon vein that pops
out. A crease in the middle. I love it.
I try not to laugh too hard. Right. So that's why I keep my composure, people. Just like, why is she so as Tony would say, got a stick up her butt. No, I don't have a stick up my butt. I just have a stick on my forehead.
So got this AC going, girls. And oh my God, baby.
So yeah. So
it's now 85 in here.
Okay.
Thank God, baby.
Good. There you go, baby. So the secret ingredient when you work in the kitchen, when they say you put your foot in it, well, when you're doing your spell work, your secret ingredient is your prayer, aka your intentions. So that's the sixth thing, but it's a secret ingredient because everybody has their, intentions and prayers differently, and no two are the same by any two people. So besides those, that's what I tell people. Listen, household items you could get right now. You don't have to pay anything. Go in your kitchen, and each one of them has properties that correlates with its purpose. Just pray over it and thank it for its sacrifice to give you the energy that you need to do and what you're about to do. What you think? That's what I say.
I love that. And I just learned something new. I would have never thought to use corn oil, and it is affordable. It's something that most of us already have at home. So
I buy the gallon jugs, baby. Any type of time they're making witching oil, I use my corn oil as my base. I still put my essential oils in it to make the actual spell. But the carrier oil, you use the corn oil, and you can keep things very low and affordable for everybody and still get the same intention.
That's beautiful. I love that. Corn oil. Okay. See? Okay. So in addition to, because there's a big debate, and I've seen this a lot on Facebook and in my Facebook group, about getting your supplies at Dollar Tree. So I feel like the tool is the intention you put behind it. You pray over it, you infuse it. A candle is a candle until you turn it into whatever its purpose is. But for someone that may be on a budget and just, can't afford these super expensive candles now at like these spiritual shops are like $25. I'm like, for one candle? Really?
Oh,
what are your guys' thoughts on?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No,
Well,
go ahead.
I've gone to Dollar Tree, I've looked at them. You know the glass, the candles with the glass, the long ones. You got them burning behind you, baby.
Yeah.
Those candles, I buy white, black, red, blue, any rainbow colors they have in bulk because they sell them for $2 a piece.
Mhm.
And I just hold them until I have a spell that needs it. And then I got 7 days worth of a spell for $2.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
I'll
So
give my
that's
experience. Whether I bought some from the Dollar Tree, the Family Dollar, I'm going to be honest with you. In the beginning, I'm sure my ancestors didn't mind me giving that, my spirit guides. But I truly believe this. Once you start, this is what I'm going to say. Let me clear my throat real quick, please. Sorry. Because this is important. I don't know if I'm in spirit right now, but I'm getting goosebumps. What I want to say is this. When you're starting out, your ancestors and your spirit guides that everyone was born with, if no one told you, you're all born with a spirit guide, maybe more than one. And your ancestors, they want to see you succeed. My thing is this: when you're on your spiritual journey or just figuring it out and you have to get ingredients, they understand your budget, they understand your pockets. And so what happens is that what I found when I started is that if I just had $1 and I went to the Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I was buying $10 candles before Jasmine said go to Family Dollar, Dollar Tree. I'm gonna be honest. So then I was like, okay, let me go there. But if that's all you had, what the beauty of this is that when you're doing your spirituality and your journey, when you give back, say for instance, at the cashier you had $5 and you spent $4 on 4 candles, glass and case candles, right? If you did that, Tony, babe,
Yeah, sorry about that, darling.
mute yourself, babe. Just mute yourself. That's what I do.
Oh, shit, I didn't even think about that. I'll tell you what.
Tony curses, y'all. Tony curses. So
Did I just curse?
be ready for the F-bombs.
Did I curse?
It's okay. Shit's in the Bible somewhere. We all take one every day. So there you go. So
Sorry.
at the end of the day, if I give $5, and this is something that Tony has taught me, out of my business as a spiritual practitioner, I give $5. What I will do because of the exchange of energy and money in a business establishment, I will give $5 to the cashier, buy 4 candles. And with that one extra dollar I have, that exchange in my hand from theirs, that's an energy from a big establishment, I will give that dollar as an offering to my altar. And that's where the potency and intentions come from. And the 4 candles, no. Do I like Family Dollar candles? No, because it leaves a residue. If I'm trying to read candles as a bruja, Mira, I cannot read it correctly because sometimes it leaves a residue. So yes, I tried making my own candles and I was like, girl, find a reputable candle place. So, I am still toying with making my own candles. I do have a package I came in.
I have a reputable company.
From a marketable company this time, now that I know, and I'm going to try that because I really feel you save more buying in bulk from a reputable company and making your own. And that could be a side business as well, in addition to the toolbox of other plethora of skills you may have. But that's as you graduate into that. So yeah, I'm all about leveling up.
I like that. I do. And I mean, like I said, I feel like for somebody who's newly starting out, you're on a budget, get what you can afford. I agree with you completely that your ancestors understand your budget. I also do feel like as you grow in your practice, as your spiritual work, especially if you're doing work for prosperity and money and things like that, start to come in, especially if you're working with ancestors or any deities, as you're able to afford certain things, the tools that you work with should equal that as just a symbol of your gratitude.
Yes. That's what I meant to say,
So
Jasmine.
if I know, well, you You did. I mean, if I do a money spell and I got blessed with X amount of dollars that I asked for, I feel like I can put something a little bit more significant on my ancestral altar as a thank you. They're not going to keep getting cheese and crackers if I just got, hired for a new job. It's like, okay, well, maybe we can upgrade to some fruit and wine type of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yes,
absolutely.
ancestors love liquor.
Yeah, I believe, but I believe you taught us that too, Jasmine. You do have a video. I don't remember the title, but you did, say that. Listen, when you start leveling up, don't be treating your ancestors like second half, whatever. Don't treat. I believe you have a video on that already, so the people can go back to that video to learn how that really inspired me and taught me to, to hey, I didn't think of that. And then combining, like I said, with Tony, he was like, when you get an exchange of money at an establishment, keep the change, not the part that jingled, the one that falls, like that.
It may only be $1.
Right.
So you give that $1 to your altar.
Yes.
To say thank you for the blessing.
I love that. Toshar, do you have any recommendations for a newbie witch starter kit? What you would suggest somebody have?
Yes, I'm actually making them now to go with the course we're doing, the shadow work course, because this is a big issue that people have came to me with. I know it was an issue when I started. I wanted to know yes or no. Just let me know yes or no. Should I do this or should I not do that? Like, I'm listening to Jasmine videos, but I'm like, is that a yes or a no? I don't know. And, I know we can't rely on everyone. We have to create our own independence. You want to get out of that mold of relying on everyone for information. You want to be able to trust your spirit guides because you develop a relationship with them. And like I said, with that knowledge of developing my own relationship, I am a big fan of pendulums, baby. Oh, huge fan of pendulums. I think.
Oh, that's why you went all googly eyes when you seen the ones that I made.
Well, I really am going to make my own, but
I stick with rustic. I like rustic.
You like rustic. I'm going to show an example of someone. I'm gifting this one too. And if you guys can see it, I put it in the black part. I don't know if it'll be seen.
Maybe if you bring it a little closer to the camera.
Without it fading in the black, right? It's like a chakra. You see it?
Oh, that's pretty.
Right? I hope I'm showing it right. And it's all, you see?
It's pretty.
Yeah. And so I'm gifting that to someone because I was like, you know what? I want to start out. But to be honest with you, I feel that it's more economically feasible for me to make them now that I have the blessings of everyone in my traditions, and I'm working with you, I'm working with Tony, and I'm leveling up. I trust and I'm confident that what I make for someone will magnify their prosperity and abundance like it has done for me. So my intentions for the person when I'm making the pendulums that I'm starting to do now is a yes or no. And that's what pendulums are all about, picking up your energy and getting that yes or no answer when Jasmine is a recording and she's probably asleep 2:00 in the morning when I need that yes or no answer. And that's what I'm saying. When you start to rely on other people, sometimes they, are not there realistically. So therefore you have to develop your own relationship with yourself and your energy. But something you guys can ask me and answer me, which was really interesting. I was working with the pendulum with someone at Tony's and it didn't move for them. And I felt bad.
No, it wasn't supposed to.
No, it moved for me.
No, I know, but it didn't move for them.
And I was like,
when a person is dead inside,
oh,
they don't have any sort of spirituality, don't have anything.
That's what I thought, but I didn't want to.
They're closed off to everything around them.
Yes.
And they only believe what they can see in front of them or hold in their hand. Yeah. Nothing extraordinary will go for them.
Okay. Well, that was the second person that happened. I saw that too. Sorry to cut you off, Jasmine. I was done. I was like, oh.
No, I agree. I think pendulums may not like people also.
Okay.
And I say that because I did a Reiki session on a client who came to me that suffered a trauma, and she didn't tell me that this particular situation happened, and it had occurred a week before she came for her Reiki healing. And I did her healing on her, and my pendulum vanished. And when I say vanished, I mean she left her session, and I had another client coming in for a Reiki healing, and the pendulum, it disappeared in the thin air. I never saw it again. She didn't take it. You know what I mean? That didn't happen.
Right.
I put it back in its box with the crystal where I charged it, and the pendulum literally vanished. To this day, I do not know whatever happened to that pendulum. My new client came in, and I was like, where did it go? And it absorbed so much energy. And then later she had told me, what had happened. And I realized pendulums are alive. They're living entities.
Yep.
And they will not move if they don't want to work. And I agree with Tony, if someone's dead and hollow inside, they won't work. Or in this particular example, her healing session pulled all of that energy off from what happened to her. And she walked out the door, and the pendulum, it went with her.
Okay. I didn't want to assume, because I'm still humbly in my learning phase with a lot of tools. But when I reflect back on the two people and their spirituality, remember, Tony, that one girl, I used it as a demonstration, really not knowing that it probably wasn't the best tool applicable to show her on herself. I don't
it was a good tool. It was a beginner's tool. It's very simple to use.
Yeah, I don't like making people feel bad about.
But she, on the other hand, it was not for her.
Right.
We'll just say that.
Okay.
Without saying anything bad about somebody, it wasn't for her. But I've had a tool not disappear, but shatter.
Wow.
I was giving a reading to a lovely Black couple, and my cowrie shells, all 20 of them shattered in half.
When?
And I couldn't stop shaking.
After the reading or during the reading?
After I threw them, they all shattered.
Oh, dang.
And for 20 plus years, I have never had these. I've never had to replace them. They all shattered at the same time.
That's crazy.
So I went to something Grandma told me. If something goes bad on one, pull out 2 or 3 others, because you need to know what's going on. If something's bad enough that's going to happen, you need to find out, because it's your responsibility to tell them what you see.
Yeah.
Well, come to find out,
the
husband was having an affair and beating his mistress so she wouldn't tell.
Oh, okay.
And the husband had a bag in his pocket that was trying to block me.
What?
He carried an old school mojo bag.
You got it. That's what I thought you said.
For protection and blocking.
No.
And when I figured out what it was, I just put on my grandma's jewelry and then read him the film.
What? That's crazy. How dare you?
You don't book a reading, and he's the one who booked it.
Oh.
Now, see, he thought I was a fraud.
Well, it sounds like he was setting you up to look like a fraud.
Yeah, but he thought I was to start with. But he took the precaution just in case.
Got you. See, that's why it's so important. First of all, the advice that I did give the young lady at the market with you, Tony. Remember, I said, girl, just clear your chakras. Here's my business card. We could work on that, because your energy needs to come through to pick up the reading on the pendulum. But this is why it's so important to get with people who like Real Talk with Witches. And you definitely can find us on Facebook in a safe community, because that's where we're going with this. This is our goal and our mission. I know, Jasmine, you're going to repeat it again. But you have to be so careful, because no matter where you go and what you do, there are different sides to everything. There's different polarizations, and you want to have the balance to look like this. So when you get your chakras cleared and your energy aligned, excuse me, you start to pick up on some sugar, honey, iced tea. And that's what you want. You want to be able to pick up on stuff because you want me to say the cuss word?
No, I'm just saying iced tea sounds real good right now.
So, at the end of the day, you want to be able to have your spiritual vibrations aligned so you could pick up on other things that your spirit guides, your ancestors are going to tell you about a person, which is a spirit in front of you. So you can recognize and don't fall into a trap of kind of like what you went through, Tony, the setup, the okie doke, That's why you got to be spiritually conscious and start.
Yeah, but when grandma shows up, ain't nobody leaving until
your grandmother is amazing. She don't like nobody messing with her baby, honey. So that's your ancestor coming to the rescue. And that's what we all should have. We all have our spirit guides, but we all should have a connection with our ancestors. Those are good, unknown, and known. So we can have that connection, so they can help. What do you say, Jasmine?
Mm-hmm. I agree completely. And I love the idea of having the pendulum or some sort of divination tool so that instead of constantly having to run to someone outside of yourself to seek answers, you can get your own answers. I like to use my pendulum when I dress my candles. Is my candle ready to be lit? Maybe I have a yes or no question. And part of studying, and again, if we're talking about budgeting, right? Most people, you may not be able to afford to go get a reading every time something comes up in your life. You need to be able to have some beginner-friendly, accurate, easy tool to get very clear messages through. So
I've got an idea for a good tool.
You said, what was that?
I have an idea for a good tool. If you're on a budget, take a walk in the forest, take a walk in a park, take a walk on the beach. Pick up your shells and pick up your stones. There you go. You got a divination tool.
And there's another one that I do talk about when I talk to mainstream media. I say go hug a tree. Trees scientifically, and you know me, I was a science major when I graduated. Went to college. Scientifically, trees have so many features and properties to them. One, when we exhale, that is the food trees need, which is the carbon dioxide to live. And they exhale, figuratively speaking, oxygen, which we need to live. And it's an even exchange. See how I always keep meeting in the middle with my hands for a reason. The other thing is that the roots, which is totally symbolic of what we're talking about with ancestors, with trees, they go deep in the ground and they have a connection with the energetic fields of the center of the earth. And the trees don't have anything where it says, oh, don't touch me because you're bad. They receive that energy. So you could just put your hands on it. You could hug a tree to release that negative energy, and it will neutralize through the tree's root system and the energetic field to the core of the earth. You can look that up. Another thing is that trees are symbolic in abundance of leaves. Every time you look at a tree, you should feel inspired because they have so many leaves. When you're dealing with money, it's a great visualization tool just to meditate on. So like Tony said, walk in nature, make sure you're barefooted, be grounded, ground yourself because your energy comes from your feet too, and ground your chakras. So there's so many things you can do. And if you're like in Alaska right now and don't have a tree, I don't know what season it is, but my point is during those times of season where you don't have a tree, it's still you still can use the tree to do that, or you can take a walk out in nature and find some running water, which is excellent source of cycling energy. Yeah.
Or you can use the snow.
The snow, absolutely, because it's going through right. It's a transformative state, and if you capture the snow, put it in a pot, you could do some wonderful stuff with that. I know.
I like that. You both brought up two really good points as far as walking in nature. I remember my very first wand that I have was a tree branch that I was sitting under a tree reading Scott Cunningham's book on Wicca. And I knew I wanted to add a wand to my altar. And I was like, looking online, and wands, you get hand carved wands. They're expensive,
Mhm.
And I literally had a tree branch that was, so long and shaped perfectly. And when I got home, I took it and I tied a crystal, just wrapped a crystal with some yarn around it, some hot glue. And I made my first wand, and it didn't cost me anything. I mean, the crystal was probably $3 from a crystal shop, and the tree bark came out the part for free.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Yep.
Yeah, you just
so I
I'm
have two
stuck for the
questions.
book.
I'm curious to see what you guys' thoughts are on this. How do you guys feel about oils from the Botanica? Like the little square $25 bottles of oil. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Jasmine, you are so funny because I be trying to stay in character and you come up with questions we didn't even talk about.
No, it's a
We're
good
talking about
question.
witching on a budget. We want to witch on a budget. A lot of people, they buy those because they're budget friendly, but I just want to hear what your guys' opinion are on them.
I love how they look when I started out. Okay, let me say this. I love how they look, but I was always scared of them before I started on my spiritual journey. In my transition, I love to smell. So I was laughing because, you know, um, when I'm sorry, I have an inner talk with myself right now because, I'm going to be honest with everybody. When I have a lot of, how do you call it? I have a lot of, and I don't want to sound nerdy, but accolades when it comes to degrees, right? And when I was going from my substance abuse KSAT, trying to help people in substance abuse, they always had you go and feel what it felt like, go to NA meetings to see what it was like, but you couldn't, infiltrate or anything like that. Just experience what it was like to go to an NA meeting. And so during the course, and this is the joke that's in my head, is that in class, you will have a personality chart. And my personality is that I will be a hoofer.
Okay.
I
like it.
I would be a hoofer, which is true because I would get everything. And this is me. Even with this, I'm saying I'm doing something right now, and I'm like, how does it smell? So my point to answer your question, I would be a hoofer, smelling everything, like everything.
You said a huffer. Oh, I thought you said a hooker.
I
I'm
did
like, oh, baby. I'm like, who this just went fast, baby?
I'm sorry. My throat is dry. No correlation to being a hooker because my throat is dry. Wait. I tell you, Tony, you are a mess. But I would be a hoofer. So at the end of the day, what I did was, yes, I like the scents, but what I would do is get this. I probably only bought 2 or 3 in my life, or 5, probably 5, because I wanted to smell the scent. And because I worked with apothecary first, herbs, and like I said, oils, corn oil or olive oil, and essential oils, I started to recognize the smell like you do in the kitchen. I always say this, start with your main ingredients so you can know what they smell like. So if you start with pepper, you know what pepper does, the effects it has. Same thing. If you smell someone's product, if you're a good chef, every good chef can eat someone's food and tell you the ingredients in it. Same thing with your spirituality. You could smell something and you could pick up on stuff. I was sitting here, and this is a reputable company, Sun Eye. I love them, right?
I like them.
I love them, right?
Yeah, I have a few.
Oh, I bought some of their stuff at one point because I was just so damn in need of something.
Yep. Sometimes you just gotta run
and too damn lazy to make it myself.
Right. So see, right. In those instances, I could smell this Aquarian, the zodiac oil, straight up bergamot. It smells so good. And jasmine.
Next time you in my booth, open my bottom drawer. Full set of zodiac oils just waiting to be made. They're already ready to package.
So what I did one time, Original Botanica in the Bronx, I went there and got some jockey oil in a bottle. I smelt it. I did my research and I found the ingredients for Jockey Club oil. And I started to put them together. And one thing I learned about Tony, you have to let stuff curate when you make it, meaning let it sit for a long period of time. And over the course of a couple of months, that's what Tony's talking about. Sometimes you need that stuff quick, but on the times you can budget yourself to buy ingredients to make a bulk and section it off, it's good to do your own, make your own. So that was my point in my whole spiel. Being long-winded, I apologize for that.
No, I love that. I want to hear Tony's thoughts on Botanica oils. I think I have an idea how you feel about it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
I've bought a few over the years. I've smelled them and I've thrown several of them out right after I bought them because I've always gotten the feeling that the person that made it, you pick up somebody else's bad juju.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want bad juju from somebody I don't know to try to work a spell for, we'll just save money?
Mm-hmm.
That's just going to cause me to lose more.
Mm-hmm. Or come back to them to spend your money in their shop. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious cycle.
You have to pick it up, you have to smell it, you have to handle it. When you handle it, if you feel right with it, it's good for you.
Oh, okay. What is your thought?
But don't spend over $2 on it.
People not gonna like my opinion. So I'll tell you this. My mother used to buy those oils from the Botanica, those little square bottles for $2. Mm-hmm. She used them for years. That's what I grew up watching her use. So I didn't know any better when I became of an age where I started practicing on my own. I've used them. Do I feel like they work? I do. I think they worked because of the amount of energy that I was putting into them, and it wasn't them by themselves. There was candles, there was herbs, there was prayer, there was all of that. However, being here in LA, I have the privilege of being able to go into the warehouses, so to speak, of where these things are sold wholesale. And I'm not trying to knock any particular company, but I want to be 100 with people. If you're going to place your money somewhere, I think you can budget on candles, but you should spend a little bit more for quality oils. These oils are mineral oil with dye. They're mass produced with a label stuck on them. They have no roots in them. They have no essential oils in them. If they were, they wouldn't be $1.50 a bottle. And I feel like
have roots.
Right, they have something in them.
They have everything.
What I've come across that was a little interesting to me is when you go into certain shops and you ask the people their questions and they're just workers. They're not knowledgeable about the product. So you have people working here that can't tell me how to use a product. You have products on your shelf that are literally mineral oil and like food coloring. Mm-hmm. Where's the chi? Where's the energy in that? And then the person who's wrapping, you're getting my stuff and you're putting in a bag and you're ringing me up, but you don't even believe in what you're selling because you're just here to get a paycheck. That's all energy going into a product that I'm taking home to use with the hope that it's going to change my situation. I don't like that. Yeah. So, and that's why I started making my own oils. I said, well, screw it then. I'll just make my own stuff. And I know it's going to work. And I know what's going to be in there. And I know that there's going to be real essential oils and real roots and real herbs. So as far as witching on a budget is concerned, I feel like you can cut corners in some places. You can't cut corners in other places. And if you're going to, buy a oil, if you're on a budget, I would say get an all-purpose oil. Spend an extra $5 on an all-purpose oil. Then spend $2 on an oil that's artificial, honestly.
You know what caught me too, Jasmine, and Tony just said corn oil. What caught me is I don't know about anybody else, but I kind of had my blonde wig taken off moment. When I went into Botanica and it had parsley in a bag for like small Ziploc bag.
Yeah,
like
$7.
$5, $6. And then I went shopping and a bunch of parsley was for 69 cents. I was like, you big dummy. Why did you buy that? All you have to do is hang it upside down and let it dry. Crush it up with your hands, which is energy right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can even buy it for cooking.
For cooking.
Buy
Let
the
it
dry one.
Mm-hmm.
dry
You can
one.
sit it in oil.
Right. So same thing with the one fresh produce that is all purpose is basil. That will cut
Mhm.
any negativity in you in a minute. So
Bay leaf is good too.
bay leaf is good. So get a bunch of fresh from the produce section basil. Take half, cook it with. Take the other half, dry it. When it's dry, crumble it up, put it in some corn oil, all-purpose oil. Do what you got to do. Take a bath with that. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can clean your house with it.
Clean your house, floor wash.
You put it, yeah, I was about to say, you put it in some alcohol or some, you can take your less oil or vinegar or whatever you use on your floor. Just sprinkle it in it.
Ammonia, lemon ammonia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's another good one.
Mm-hmm. So this is the homework. Can I just end it real quick, Jasmine, with the homework?
Yes.
And then before
Absolutely.
you end it, can I free end it? I want everyone,
By all means.
thank you, to go into your kitchen. Do not buy anything just yet. Go into your kitchen, and hopefully if you watch the previous video of Real Talk with Witches, with the transition from religion to spirituality, Jasmine mentioned in there, and Tony mentioned, get a book. Start having your own personal journal. Don't buy a book. Buy an old notebook your kids didn't use last year or something that you don't, something. If you don't have any paper, then get a 99-cent Family Dollar notebook. So we're making this
a lot of it.
real feasible where you can get your notebook, go into your kitchen, make a list of the spices you already have, and Google it. But what you're going to Google is spiritual uses for boom. So if you have garlic, spiritual uses for garlic, salt, spiritual use for salt. Keep the list going and log your results on Google. And then just take one thing and start practicing your spiritual journey.
By our next video, I will upload a full list from A to Z of herbs for the kitchen that you can use and what they're used for free.
Perfect.
And they'll be able to download it for free from my website.
Thank you. I mean, I think we covered a lot today. I think this has been helpful. I hope that this has been helpful in giving some people some insight as far as where to get spiritual supplies. My biggest takeaway from this was the corn oil. I've never heard that before, so that is going to change the game. I think for a lot of people, that's something we all have in our kitchen cupboards. So Tony, thank you for sharing that. Other than that, unless
Not
you
a problem.
have any other final thoughts, I would say, for those of you that are watching, we'd love to hear your feedback. Leave in the comments below. Have you ever heard of using corn oil to make your essential oils, to make your spiritual oils, or any of these things? Or you have something that you'd like to add that we missed in today's video? We want to hear it. Be sure to join us in our Facebook group, Real Talk for Witches. Send a request and we will gladly add you, where you guys can have a little more personal. We'll be posting and more advice and things like that in there. And other than that, I think that's it. Yeah, guys?
I'm good.
All right. Thank you for watching. And we will see you guys in our next episode 3, in a couple of weeks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.